It's time for Positively Kansas. Coming up, pandemics, violence, broken families, social media, cancel culture. The stresses faced by young people today just keep multiplying. We'll show you an effort underway to bring some furry, four-legged relief to Kansas kids in need of relaxation and relief. Also, you'll meet a 96-year-old Ark City man who's fit as a fiddle and on trend when it comes to exercising. He offers some encouragement for all of us to get up and be more active. In our Wild Edge report, we have interesting information about these colorful little wildflowers that dot the Kansas countryside. You may be surprised. And you'll meet a Lawrence man who captures the beauty of Kansas with words. I'm Sierra Scott. A half hour of information and inspiration is queued up and ready to roll in this edition of Positively Kansas.
Positively Kansas is brought to you in part by before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 25 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 900,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, proudly supports PBS Kansas.
Program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank Trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
We live in some very stressful times for just about everybody, it seems. That includes children and teenagers who face pressures most of us grown-ups couldn't even have imagined at their age. Now, most Kansas schools are adding additional staff to try to help. These new staff members seem to love their work and are easy to keep happy. You just need to throw them a bone every now and then.
All right, Kaylin, let's go.
Students of Amy Hebert's 5th grade class returned from break along with therapy dog Weston, a 3-year-old golden doodle.
All right, check the board. Make sure that you are ready for the day. Do you need a restroom break? Did you get one or no? No. Okay, then you have 2 minutes to be ready for class. If you need a restroom break, get a restroom break. If you need to say hi to Weston, say hi to Weston.
Weston gets more attention
Hi, Weston.
than most dogs do. The attention coming from Halstead Middle School students. Weston is a certified professional therapy dog. 5th grade teacher Hebert is Weston's owner and handler.
Come on.
School librarian Joelle Matlack is almost always shadowed by this golden doodle she's the owner-handler of. Sure, it's easy enough to see why this certified therapy dog is named Bear.
He's 6 years old, and he's been doing this for 3 years.
Bear is the veteran of the 2 therapy dogs.
You guys want to say hi to Bear? Hi, Bear.
The canines are like magnets, attracting attention wherever they go.
I think he is such a great dog. He doesn't do anything that a student should tell a teacher about and get in trouble for, because he's such a good dog.
He can never get you in trouble. He never gets, he can't get mad at you and stuff. He's just so soft.
Yeah, you're a good boy, Weston.
Weston started coming to the school in December of 2021 after getting his therapy certification the summer before. Weston's school welcoming can be attributed, at least in part, to how well the older Bear has done when he was the lone therapy dog in the school.
Well, we had seen therapy dogs in other school buildings and talked to some people in districts other than ours. And when I took him to obedience training, when I took Bear, some people had been talking about taking their dogs to hospitals and things like that. And we thought, what a great idea for dogs to work with students at school.
Dogs have filled the roles of providing affection, comfort, and support to others probably since humans first domesticated canines. But in more recent history, the likes of Nurse Florence Nightingale and Dr. Sigmund Freud founder of psychoanalysis, recognized how dogs can help in calming some patients. And don't think therapy dogs are only used in younger student settings. Yale Law School has used therapy dogs as stress relievers since 2011. This is Zipper, a professional therapy dog at Enterprise Elementary School in Wichita.
Hello, Zipper.
Kids can't resist petting him in the classrooms or when they pass in the hallways.
You're cute. I like him.
That's a common reaction to the furry canine in the school. Zipper promotes a calmness, lessening the stress a student may feel. Megan Adams, on the left, oversees the therapy dog program in the Wichita Public Schools and is an owner-handler of one of the school therapy dogs. She says therapy dogs have been used in some Wichita schools for at least 20 years.
I would love to see a professional therapy dog in every school. I know that's a big dream, a pipe dream, but I think it would be wonderful if we could increase the number of dogs in our schools.
Enterprise School Counselor Danielle Thrush is the owner-handler of Zipper, a 3-year-old Golden Doodle breed. Thrush says Golden Doodles are known for their allergy-friendly coats, making these dogs more welcome in populated settings like schools. She says these dogs are also known for being good with children.
Yes, he comes to work with me every day, and he's here all day long. He gets breaks in my office, and if a kid chooses that they don't want to participate with him, I have my kennel over there, and so I kennel him for kids that just aren't fond of dogs, and that's okay.
But most students welcome Zipper with a pat on the back, and then they get back to their classwork. Now, Zipper can move seamlessly from classrooms full of children to school offices with adults.
Here comes Zipper for more. He can be used as a reward, but he's actually used as a tool. He's used as a tool in therapy. He's used as a tool to help kids regulate and identify their emotions. And so he does that within the school, and it's been really cool to see the kids welcome him as almost a member of it as Enterprise. And now that they see him, they just walk down the hallway and they'll pet him a little bit and then go on their way, and it's not as much of a distraction anymore.
Professional therapy dogs, there's been quite a bit of research. They increase positive feelings, they decrease anxiety and stress. They really increase the overall well-being of our staff and students.
Those in Halstead are experiencing the same acceptance among students and staff.
You know, initially we thought that the dogs were here to comfort and help the students, but really we're discovering that they really work a lot with the teachers as well. Teachers will come in and just get a quick pet, or come in and just give a little rub on them, and they look forward to seeing the dogs just as much as the students do.
Hey, Christy, Miss Hill, Bear wants to come see you.
Bear has been around long enough to know all the teachers and students. So it's common for him to drop in unannounced to greet students and teachers, like here in Christy Hill's computer class.
Come on, let's go.
When Bear's not roaming the halls or inspecting classrooms, he returns to his home base, the school library, where he knows he can find other teachers and students.
I think he's just a good companion to some of our kids in our school, that they feel comfortable, they can come in and they can let any emotion go out. And he's just a good friend to our kids. He's always there for them, and he'll always be there for them.
I get kind of stressed all the time, and he helps me a lot with it.
It's recess time in Amy Hebert's class. It's a cold winter day, so students relax and play games indoors with the therapy dogs interacting with them.
Do it again. 1, 2, 3.
Recess is over. It's time for lessons again.
It is time to clean up. Don't move. I'm not done talking. Check the floor, because if you leave anything on the floor, who will get it?
Weston.
Yes.
Halstead's middle school, getting therapy dogs was not without study and planning.
So there was a lot of research done on what are the benefits and in what age groups and in what capacity.
The school started out with a pilot program, having Bear in the school on certain days to gauge the response.
Oh, they're very welcomed. The kids look forward to it. I was doing a new student tour one day, and the young man stopped and he said, "Mrs. Weedle, there are dogs in your school." And I said, "Yes, they're therapy dogs. They're here just like you will be each and every day." So they make a huge impression, and they're a part of our staff. So I did have questions about whether or not a therapy dog, or let's just say a dog, in school. But then as I started watching our students interact with the therapy dog, and when you put the word therapy in front, it changes the dynamic.
Now she's a fan. Principal Weedle says other school districts have contacted her to hear what the Halstead School has learned.
I do recommend the therapy dogs for social emotional needs. Our students definitely benefit from them.
Students like Morgan Schneider, who says she is overcoming her fear of dogs the more she's around Weston and Bear.
My friends have dogs, but I'm getting really used to them now because they're like smaller dogs.
Now, something to remember. These dogs aren't fresh off the street, backyard family pet dogs. They're trained and certified.
So these dogs are professional therapy dogs.
But she'll point out they're not service dogs, like these service dogs we told you about in an earlier Positively Kansas story. These service dogs are specifically trained for military veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. Their training is even more intense. But therapy dogs require specific training, which takes time, work, and money.
I paid for all of his classes, then I have to pay to have him tested as well. So I consume all of the cost for that.
It takes a lot of work as a handler. So Mrs. Hebert and I had to get our dogs trained, and it's a financial commitment as well. And so I think if you have somebody that's willing to do that in your building, it just makes a great opportunity.
Matlack says a therapy dog can go to the workplace with its handler, and says in Kansas, these dogs are allowed anywhere the public is allowed. Both handlers say these dogs have been a help in the classrooms during the COVID pandemic.
As the pandemic has hit and the schools have gone through so many changes, we are seeing a huge social and emotional need in our students and in our staff. And it was then that I thought that we could really use another support system in our school.
Bear and Weston interact with hundreds of students and staff members daily. Now, the dogs can stand out and be noticed in the classroom, or seemingly fade into the woodwork and paid little attention to when the students are busy. These students will eventually graduate to another school building, but the dogs will remain to bring comfort to new students.
The dogs are here to stay. They're not going anywhere.
At Halstead Middle School, this is Chris Frank for Positively Kansas.
The Wichita School District currently has 20 professional therapy dogs working in its schools, with plans to add more. In recent years, pickleball has become very popular for people of all ages. You're about to meet an Ark City man who proves age is nothing but a number when it comes to playing this exciting and trendy sport.
We can all only hope that at age 97, we'll be able to move around the pickleball courts, or anywhere else for that matter, like Robin Ledecker. Robin's introduction to pickleball began when he was in his late 80s.
My daughter that lived in Utah kept telling me about this game, and she said, "Dad, you need to get in on this."
So Robin started playing, and then began recruiting friends to join him at the Ark City Rec Center. For the last several years, this close-knit group has looked forward to getting together on Fridays. Robin loves the exercise, but equally as much the camaraderie.
My wife passed away after I just barely started it, and I like the companionship and the fellowship you get. Only nice people play pickleball.
The Ark City native and World War II veteran says he's always been active. Being in the Navy required that. But we got the real story about his passion for fitness from his daughter Ann.
He rode his bicycle to work, which was several miles, until the second time somebody stole it off the front porch. So then he just started running.
He ran to work.
He ran to work.
Anne also let us know about her dad's fierce competitiveness.
He loved to play ping pong, and so we had a table set up in the garage, and he would spot me 15 points out of 21 and beat me every time.
So he's always been a competitor.
Oh, yeah.
Something I would soon find out about. Well, you knew it was coming. Robin challenged me to a game, and being a competitor like him, well, I had to take him up on it. The court was a bit dark. I forgot my contacts, but thanks to years of tennis playing, I didn't totally humiliate myself. But Robin and his partner still beat us.
I used to think pickleball was for everybody, but it isn't. Some people just aren't hand-eye coordinated.
Hopefully he wasn't talking about me. Anyways, it was a lot of fun and even got me thinking about playing more often. And fun is what it's all about for these folks. Robin wouldn't have it any other way.
He's just so encouraging to everybody. Because I'm terrible. I've never played a sport in my life. I'm the worst one of the bunch. But he's still just, come on, get in there, we can do this.
As much as Francis and the other players admire Robin's physical abilities, it's the kind of person he is that makes him extra special.
He is a gentleman's gentleman. He is a prince among men. That's been used too many times, but he cares about everybody, about the world, about his friends, about his family, about the downtrodden.
And that's one of the reasons Robin was so happy to be interviewed. He wants anyone who is feeling down or old and not exercising to see him as inspiration.
You're missing out, and I have fun doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it till probably they carry me off. I don't know.
In Ark City, I'm Anthony Powell for Positively Kansas.
You might think with the workout he gets playing pickleball that Mr. Robin would take it easy in between. Oh no, he has a vigorous exercise routine the rest of the week as well. Then he relaxes on Sunday by walking. Some Kansas wildflowers are natives. Others were brought here by settlers to add more color to the Kansas countryside. This week, Mike Blair takes a look at Dame's Rocket, a popular spring plant that isn't native to Kansas, but now takes its place among the natives, especially around old prairie homesteads.
Among Kansas wildflowers that don't really belong here, Dame's Rocket is certainly understandable. Settlers brought seeds from this pretty ornamental to decorate their new homes, and over time it naturalized and spread. It's now common through most of Kansas, especially near old home sites and woodlots. And I look for it each year, where it colors the landscape and attracts a host of wildlife, especially bees and butterflies. It blooms in early May, and its flowers are full of sweet nectar. It's a natural and glorious backdrop for colorful insects. While blooming, it creates a busy temporary city where travelers of all kinds visit. Early season monarchs, headed north and laying eggs on milkweeds as they go, rely on these flowers for high-energy food. The monarch's large size and cheery familiarity are perfect complements to the white and purple flowers. Black swallowtails are another large species to be found nectaring here. Again, they don't lay eggs on Dame's Rocket plants, but use them as an important food source in a new growing season. Butterflies like them are a perfect reason to watch and photograph wherever Dame's Rocket grows. Smaller butterflies are even more common. Painted lady butterflies are numerous, clambering over flower clusters to load up on sweet nectar. As they probe deep into flower centers, their bodies accumulate pollen dust that brush off on other flowers, helping to pollinate them and produce flower seeds. This is true for all insects that feed here. They provide an important service while feeding and don't even know it. Buckeye butterflies are quite colorful, and here is a good place to find them. Buckeyes are more common later in summer, but the first few often congregate in places like this. Bumblebees are common at Dames Rockets too, eating nectar and gathering pollen to take back to their wild hives. The abundance of insects attracts predators. Many bird species hunt around flowers since prey is easy to find and pick off while preoccupied with feeding. Birds like great-crested flycatchers are agile in flight, able to catch flying bugs on the wing. They sit and watch a hunting ground for butterflies like silver-spotted skippers, and they pounce, seizing and returning to a perch to kill and eat their meal. Even blue jays, not particularly good at chasing insects, cash in where all kinds of bees, butterflies, and beetles congregate. Colorful birds like indigo buntings find caterpillars and other insects. There is food aplenty for all kinds of creatures where Dames Rocket grows. Spring, it's a never-ending show for those who enjoy the outdoors. I'm Mike Blair for Positively Kansas.
Next time, Mike explores the secretive life of bobcats with some undercover video he was able to capture. From Coffeyville to Garden City, up to Lawrence and everywhere in between, this next story is about a poet who captures the history, whimsy, and culture of our beloved Sunflower State. Anna Spencer reports.
What we did in my parents' garden, we should have done for our marriage. Plucked off brown, withering petals of the magnolia, dropped them in a black bucket so strong new buds could push through. My mother showed us how to do it. We did it in her garden, didn't do it at home, and then it was too late for flowers.
Sitting on a bench at College of Emporia Park, Brian Daldorf reads from his recently published book, Kansas Poems. Brian, originally from England, is a poet, author, and senior lecturer at the University of Kansas. He has called the Sunflower State home for the last 20 years. His book of poetry is an ode to his adopted state.
Kansas has a kind of a slow charm. I think it kind of grows on you. It's not something like going to the mountains where it's spectacular right away. So the poems in the book were written over at least a 20-year period. And unlike my other ideas for books, I didn't set out with this idea and then worked on them and wrote the poems. What I had to do for this book was to look through everything that I've been writing over at least 20 years, maybe even longer than that, and pick out the poems that were of this particular place. And then I put them together into the book, and it made sense as I was looking through them to divide them into the seasons. So the book is divided into the 4 seasons and obviously tied in with Kansas.
Brian says the poems have given him the opportunity to explore the people of Kansas and capture the places and things that make this state so special. The writings in his book span both time and location, with poetry traversing decades in settings ranging from the cornfields of rural western Kansas to bustling little towns and even local cemeteries like this one. Here we see Brian reading excerpts as part of a promotional piece for his book launch, an endeavor that was complicated by the pandemic. Brian actually released 2 books during the stay-at-home order, Kansas Poems and Words is a Powerful Thing, a memoir of his work with inmates at the Douglas County Jail. Brian has promoted his books via Zoom, saying both the writing and the book launch have been creative efforts, leaving time for little else.
Well, the 2 books that I published this year, the Kansas Poems that I read from and the book about the jail, they're so important and they just cover large periods of my life that there's nothing that I feel right away that I want to add to that at the moment. Maybe in a year's time I'll think differently, but I have so much invested in these 2 books that I don't really think about publishing another book at the moment.
He also hopes to eventually continue his class at the Douglas County Jail when COVID restrictions lift. For now, Brian returns to the classroom at KU this fall, where he'll share his love of writing with his students.
It's kind of strange for me to think that I've spent more time in Kansas than any other place in the world. I mean, that wasn't my intention, but that's how it happened, and that's fine.
While England is technically home for Brian, his love for the heartland grows, proving there's no place like his adopted homeland, Kansas. In Emporia, I'm Anna Spencer for Positively Kansas.
That's a wrap for this week. Positively Kansas at kpts.org is our address if you have questions, comments, or ideas. I'm Sierra Scott. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Positively Kansas is brought to you in part by program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 900,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, proudly supports PBS Kansas.
Before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 25 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.